Do you want to get your business in front of over 100,000 viewers every month? Advertise with 321 and enjoy the best value in local advertising while supporting free community live streams. Your message will be seen across live high school sports, morning shows, and local events, connecting you directly with engaged audiences, boosting your visibility, growing your brand, and helping us keep these broadcasts accessible to everyone for free. Partner with 321 today and watch your business thrive. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 321 History, the show where Tom Foley talks about history.
Foolery.
With Tom Foolery. I'm sorry.
It's all right, Ben. It's okay.
And today we got Tom's in stereo because we have Tom Foley and Tom Galuccio. How are you, Tom?
I'm well. Thank you, Ben.
From the Westerly Historical Society. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being our first guest on this show.
Oh, wow. What an honor.
You're number one, Tom.
I am number one.
Uh-huh.
So many people indicate that.
You get that a lot.
I do.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So we talked a little bit before we went on air about this, but just let's give us a background. I mean, obviously you're a member of the what is your position with the Westerly Historical Society?
Currently president of the Westerly Historical Society.
Absolutely good. Could you give me a pardon for all of my historical crimes that I've committed? They're crimes of historic nature.
There you go. Crimes against history.
Yes, crimes against history.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that would be a fun title.
That's the tagline, right?
Yeah, absolutely. How long have you been with the Historical Society?
15 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you get into it?
My grandfather was born and raised here. He came over from Italy when he was about 5 or 6. And I was very close with my father's father. And he'd constantly tell me stories as we go through town and do things. And he'd talk about working for the cobbler or J.P. Toscano or doing this and running errands for so-and-so and caught shows at the Bolivian Opera House. And when he was old enough, took the trolley into Watch Hill, and he worked for the head chef at the Plimpton House, squeezing fresh oranges into juice for the patrons there. And I always wanted to see what he saw. I know what I saw of Westerly from being born and raised here, but what did it look like when he was growing up? And shortly after 1910, 1920, when he was just a teenager. So I started looking into avenues for researching Westerly and found the Historical Society and subscribed at first to their membership and saw that they had this guy Vacant was very busy. Vacant was the vice president. He was the secretary, and he was a member at large. So I went to one of the meetings to meet Vacant, and it was funny. They said, "Oh wow, this is great. We got plenty of openings if you're willing to join." And I did, and it was just before our 100th anniversary. So it was about 2010 when I joined. Their anniversary was in 2013. I joined that committee, and we had a lot of fun. We did a very large gala at the Armory. We had a couple hundred people to help us celebrate. We started something called the Julia Award, which the board of the society picks somebody in the community every year who really goes up and beyond to help promote local history, whether it's research or presentation or education. So that's something that we've done since 2013.
The Julia Award?
Julia Award. It's actually called the Westerly Historical Society Award, but we nicknamed it the Julia Award because our founder was Julia Smith.
Okay.
She resided with her family in the mansion on Granite Street. They were the second family to live there. Joshua Babcock was the first. He was the founder. He built the home. And then years later, when his family left the home and Orlando Smith purchased it, his daughter was Julia, and she had a penchant for history. So as a young woman, she convened the first group to meet in the parlor of that house, and they formed the Westerly Historical Society.
Wow.
So we just thought it'd be fitting that we named the award after her. It was her insight that started the society.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Very cool. Tom, how did you come to? Are you officially associated with the Westerly Historical Society in any way?
I think I'm a member, and I say I think because I'm now that you say that
I hear
out
there are a
loud,
lot of vacancies.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
That's funny. That's like my friend Justin Case. I have a lot of things assigned to him. You get it, Ben? Because it's just
I get it. I get it.
Okay.
You're not as clever as you think you are.
I mean, that was pretty good. What was the question, Ben?
Are you? Were you?
We did a lot of
associated with?
With the Westerly Historical Society. So I believe I owe you guys money for my dues, Tom. So maybe I'll write you a check before you leave here today. But I'm a member of Westerly Historical Society and the Babcock Smith House, and very happy to be a member. Very happy to support that organization and everything you guys do.
Two great organizations. I was asked to join the Babcock Smith House Museum Board in October, and I've held that board in high esteem for a long time. Their mission is a little bit different from ours. The mission is they concentrate on preservation of the mansion, showing the mansion off, and the granite industry, which is related to the second occupants of the mansion, the Smith family. The Westerly Historical Society, we've worked in synergy with that board for as long as I can remember. There might have been some rough goings before my time, but the two great boards.
There were knockdown, drag out.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
You know.
There were some, and
I'm sure.
Sometimes personalities do conflict, but that's not my style, and we get along very, very well. Tom has in front of him something that we started a few years ago. It's a Historical Society award that we do in conjunction with the Babcock Smith House. So annually, we start in April, just coming up. The nominations are due by folks in the community. The difference between this award and the Julia Award is the Julia Award is chosen by the board of the Historical Society. This is chosen by nominations from the community. It's an annual award up to $500, and it's given to a person or persons grade 5 through adulthood who furthers the mission of researching, studying, or preserving local history in our community. Secondary consideration will be given to someone who exhibits a passion for community unrelated to local community, but something within the state. So nominations have to be in by April 1st. Ben, you could nominate Tom for his new role.
No.
Well, I'm sure we can find somebody. Maybe if Tom puts an extra 0 on the check, I'll nominate.
There you go. Outstanding. So are there a list of nominees, or is it all write-in?
There's an application on our website that you can just go to and get it and fill it in and email it or mail it in.
Got it.
There's a three panel committee that review the awards, and then sometimes we've done co-awards if we find a few people that are suitable for receiving it. We'll split that's why it says up to $500. We can split it and give two people $250 each. Nice. and do a co-award.
And how's that funded, Tom?
Through both, through the Historical Society and Babcock Smith House Museum Board. We split that. Our major fundraising is by membership. We write grants for programs for capital repairs and projects. But it's our membership.
All right. So you really, really want the check from me before you.
Yeah,
I got it.
I really do. And one from Ben too, because there's two people in this room that aren't members right now.
Let's go, man.
That's my job.
Outstanding.
I love it.
Hey, can we talk about the picture archive at the Historical Society?
Yeah. What do you want to know?
Well, how big is it? How did what comprises the collection? Like where did the photographs come from?
They come from a plethora of sources. And it's one of the things that we push now on the community. Anybody who's cleaning out a basement, a garage, an attic, before you throw things in the dumpster, if you think anything has any historical value, even if you don't think it has any value, if it's historical, let us take a look at it first before it hits the trash.
Totally.
We'll certainly give everybody who donate something historical credit, a very well-deserved thank you. And it goes in our archives for further researchers and, well, like you folks, production people that might need to see something. I get calls from architects quite often who are doing rebuilds of mansions either in Watch Hill or Weekapaug.
Oh, cool.
That the owners want to see what the house looked like when it was first built.
Yeah.
Because additions were made, subtractions were made. Wings were taken off of houses, or dormers were changed, or widow's walkers put on the roof that wasn't there originally. So they want to see what the original picture was to bring it back to its original.
You didn't get a call from a certain young lady that lives in Watch Hill, did you? I know they're doing work on her house right now.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I filled a lot of requests.
I can neither confirm nor deny that phone call.
I've lived in two houses in Westerly that one of them was built in 1916 and the other one was built in 1917. And the 1917 house is the one that I currently live in, and I don't have a lot of questions about it. I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. But when we moved into the house 8 years ago or whatever it was, in the one that was God, is it longer than that? Oh my God, it's longer than that.
You're old, dude.
I'm so old now. It was so cool, and it was like we were like, the bathroom here clearly wasn't a bathroom before, and like I think it was a pantry, and the kitchen is so narrow. And
what's the address?
I'm not giving the address right now.
Why not?
Just
give me.
We're on air. We can't.
Hold on. Hold on. We're gonna go to a 5-second break, and we're going to hear from Wood River Health right now, and then I'm going to give Tom the address while we're off air.
Love it.
Wood River Health is my home for health.
Wood River Health is a one-stop shop for primary medical care, dental care, behavioral health, and social services. We care for the members of our community because they are our community. I'm Allison Crow, President and CEO of Wood River Health. Since 1976, our health center has provided high-quality, affordable health care to residents of Rhode Island and southeastern Connecticut. We are your neighborhood health center. Let us be your home for health.
All right, we are back, and
Tom
does have the address of the house.
I do.
That we lovingly called Clark Manor, because as a joke, obviously, because it was built in 1916 by the Clark family for as a gift for their daughter's wedding. And so it's a beautiful house. It's right at the top of Granite, the hill on it. Is it called Granite Hill? I don't know if there's the Granite Street Hill by the high school. And it faces the sunset at night. Like all of the windows face the sunset, and it's like the highest point in the area. And it was just this gorgeous house that felt like, 110 years ago, it was like a little mansion. Like it was so cool, and we felt so lucky and honored to live in that house. So I'm not surprised at all by the people in Weekapaug and Watch Hill and Mesquamaket and all of these places calling and being like, hey, do you have any pictures of this place before? Because it's fascinating. And even just sitting downtown, like I've had conversations with Tom about this building and about the old building that we were at, 53 High Street, the Narragansett building across from Perks, and so many other things. So history is fascinating, and history about where you live right now is very, every time I see, there's this page called All About Westerly, Tom, that
I think I've heard of that.
I've heard of. And every time I see a post on there, like you can't help but stop and look at it because you're looking at a place that you're very familiar with and it looks completely different, and you get lost in it. You try to imagine what that was like, how it went from that to this, and all of those things. So it's really fascinating.
Yeah, what Tom was talking about is, the turn of the last century looked, literally completely different. The town was completely different. Main Street was the main street. And the picture collection is so important because it gives us a keyhole to look into that era.
Main Street was lined on both sides with factories, 3, 4, 5 stories tall on both sides of the river. You don't see that. And one of the things I just noticed, when you showed Ben's house on the break, it has the original siding. One of the greatest, I think, sins to architectural design was aluminum and vinyl siding, which just covered little details from carpenters, contractors, craftsmen that put their little signature on houses, crenellations or cleats or something, decorative woodwork, decorative shingling. When aluminum siding first came out, they just rolled it right over everything and made everything just cookie cutter.
Yeah, no character.
No character at all.
Now, my house, it's fine. My house was built in 1984, and it's one of those housing developments that, I call it a just add water development, right? Where you plant the house seed and it grows overnight. It's, held together with duct tape and drywall screws. That has aluminum siding, and believe you me, it's not covering anything beautiful that you would want to see. So, but to your point, there's a lot of houses, especially, the houses that survived the 38 hurricane down on the beach. There's that one on Atlantic Ave just before that curve in Atlantic Ave. I forget the address, but you look at pictures of the beach after the hurricane and there's nothing for that whole mile or so stretch of beach. And there's that gorgeous house standing by itself up on the hill there. Speaking of that, watch my segue, Ben. You ready for this?
Yeah.
I mentioned Atlantic Ave. I'm going to tell you a story about Atlantic Ave. See how I did that?
It would have been smooth if you hadn't done everything that you just did.
Like where I explained it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a habit of doing that. And I told Tom this story, but I'm going to tell it again. So if he looks bored, that's why. So my great grandfather, my father's side, bought. He was chief of police in Worcester for almost 20 years. Retired major general from Massachusetts State Guard. Served in World War I, but chief of police at the end of his career. Bought a vacation house on Atlantic Ave in 1930. My mother's grandfather bought a vacation house right next door to that in 1929. He was a mill owner in Woonsocket. So, I am the personification of the New England story, right? I've got an Irish cop for one grandfather, and then I've got an Irish/French Canadian mill owner as my other great grandfather, right? So, and that's how I came to be. My mother met my father at their beach houses. My mom and my dad's little sister were best friends growing up, and that's how I am. Now, they bought their houses in the 20s and 30s, and of course, not very long after that, both of the houses were taken out in the 38 hurricane. My great uncle was a pilot and landed his plane on what was left of Atlantic Ave to go in search of remnants of the houses with my great aunt, his sister. And they found the house on the other side of the pond, what was left of it. And we have pictures of it, of the two of them, right after I don't know how long after the hurricane, but very shortly after. So you talk about a pinhole into the past, right? A keyhole into the past. Those pictures and pictures before the hurricane, there's something so alluring about that, about seeing what life used to look like. There's a great picture, and maybe I'll share it on All About Westerly today, but there's a picture taken from where the water slides used to be or thereabouts, looking across the street before the 38 hurricane. I think it was the summer of 1937, as a matter of fact, it was taken. And you can see the old Town Beach Pavilion, and you can see all the houses that used to be there before the hurricane. and it's just a glimpse of what it used to look like. And you know, the frustrating thing is not being able to turn your head and see up the other side of the street. And that's exactly what you're talking about when people are, you know, digging out under their stairs or in their attics or whatever. Does somebody have, you know, what seems like a boring picture up Atlantic Ave to see what those houses were? And if you have it, let's see it. You know what I mean?
It could be a backdrop to a family photo or an activity that somebody was just taking a quick snapshot of.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. Tom, we already talked about how you got into history last week, and if anybody wants to go check that out, it's pretty boring. It's not as good as the other Tom's story.
Did I tell that story last week?
Yeah.
Did I really?
Yeah. Not that story. No. Not that story.
Okay.
About how you
All right.
got into history.
Oh,
About how you fell in love with history.
okay. Do you have a nickname, by the way?
I do.
Outstanding. All right. Good talk. Outstanding.
That's going to be the clip. That's going to be the clip that we put on social for this.
I love it. Oh my God.
Tom, what sort of programs are there right now through the Westerly Historical Society?
Oh, what do we have coming up? We have a program in April, and forgive me, I forget the title of it. Our programs are held at the Carriage House, and
beautiful event space, by the way.
I was thinking the exact same
beautiful
thing.
event.
Yeah.
We hold in the same spot that the Babcock Smith House holds their programs.
Mhm.
And I mentioned to you, the Historical Society just purchased a nice 85-inch monitor for our presenters to use for their PowerPoint slides and for us to replay other videos. One of the real interesting things that we're working on that we started last spring. I came across a gentleman, you might know him. He's a local videographer and narrator, Greg Pettis.
Yeah.
Greg's a great guy. Greg joined the society a little over a year ago, and I recognized his talent right away and wanted to employ it somehow. So Greg came to us. He had done a pilot interview with a gentleman that he knew and was interested in, and he was a serviceman, and he did his history. And I thought that was a great segue into a program that we named Reflections, and it's an oral history program of Westerly residents. There's two criteria: you have to be born and raised in Westerly, and have to be 80 years young or older to qualify. And we've done a dozen. And we've done some very interesting people. Some folks I've never met, like Lois Vars. I had never met Lois, but somebody recommended her, a youthful 90-plus-year-old woman who was a Spitfire. Had a great deal of fun interviewing her. Have since become friends, and she's now an asset to the society. She certainly is. But her family owned Vars drugstore right over here, right where Wesley Jewelry is, in the building next door. Her father and uncle opened Vars Brothers. And when her father and uncle retired, her and her brother took over the store. Neither one were pharmacists. She thought one should be, so she went back to URI and became a pharmacist, so she'd know how to handle the family business. A brilliant woman, just so much fun. And Larry Hirsch, Byron Brown, Matt Lewis, David Rathbun, Betty Cugini, the Livingston family. It's John Stellatano. We've done Joe and Carol Potter. Some names that you'll recognize from that. I've known some of these people all my life, but after an hour in an interview, I knew so much more that I never knew. It's now captured. It's on video. It's on our YouTube channel. It's on our website. If you go to the Historical Society website and go to programs, you can look up, watch any of these interviews. You'll be amazed that they give an insight to Westerly through their eyes through the past 80 years. One of the first questions I ask is, tell me about your grandparents and parents and how you came to be here in Westerly, and then tell us about your schooling, elementary school, your favorite job, your favorite teacher, Tell me about your neighbors, your friends growing up. What'd you do for fun? And the interview just rolls right along. We go through an hour very, very quickly. But the best part is it's captured. And one of the first beautiful people that we interviewed was Barbara Unkery. And unfortunately, she passed away a few months after we did her interview. But it's captured. Her family has that. They thanked us for doing that, for including her in our program. It's done. It's in the books. Barbara's not, unfortunately, she's not with us anymore, but her history is, and it's saved. And that's the idea. That's what the Historical Society is trying to do: preserve Westerly's history one piece at a time and make it available for many, many years in the future.
That's amazing. Any good stories from her specifically?
Oh, Barbara's was one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, she grew up, I think, with 5 siblings in a home on Granite Street. Family was very, very poor, and her brothers and sisters would go to school with absolutely no food, no bagged lunch. Family didn't have anything to send them with. The principal felt bad and would give the brother a quarter to go across the street and buy 5 bananas. And she'd give them each a pint of milk, and that was their lunch: a banana and a pint of milk. And it might be the only thing that they ate, because they went home and the cupboards were bare. They moved from Granite Street to a farm that the father leased, the farmhouse on Bradford Road, and it gave them an opportunity to grow vegetables through the summer.
Isn't there a Vars Lane out there?
There's a Vars Lane in Bradford. That's because
Not
Lois Vars
Yeah.
from the pharmacy, they had a pharmacy in Niantic, which was Bradford.
Got it.
But now we're talking about Barbara Unkery, who was another woman that we videotaped. And as a young child, she said until she was 18, she never had running water in the house, had to use an outhouse behind. And the funny part of her story was she had arachnophobia. She was afraid of spiders, so her worst fear was going out to the outhouse in the middle of the night with no lights and not knowing if she was sharing that space with a spider or two. But for 18 years of her life, used an outhouse and lived in a home with no running water.
Wow.
At the end, we asked her, what made her happy. What her life's philosophy was, and her life's philosophy was just treat everybody kind. You don't know what anybody else is going through. And one of her biggest joys was, I can walk into a supermarket and buy anything I want to eat and go home and eat it. So you have to think that poor girl growing up, going home to a house with no food in the cupboards, had really made that strong of a mark on her whole life.
Wow. And that was Barbara Unkery that you were just talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually putting up.
Look at you, Ben.
I'm putting up some images right now so people can watch of. And by the way, Greg does amazing work.
He does do amazing work.
We're
We're very happy to have him.
Yeah, he does fantastic work. He did a lot of stuff with Westerly Live and Shane before we did this. So that's fantastic.
And then, if you
go ahead.
want, we a couple of years ago we sponsored, the Historical Society sponsored what we call the History Fair right across the street at the library upstairs. It was something I thought of to get everybody together in the same room who were like-minded historians. So we invited historical associations, historical societies, museums, just to come set up a table. I asked them to bring something from their collection that would really pique the audience's interest, that would make them stop by and talk to them, bring their membership applications, bring photographs, literature, anything to share with the public. And we filled the room with vendors and the general public who came in. It was a home run. Everybody asked us to do it again, and we are this fall. We're going to do it again, and we're going to do it at the Armory. And not yet. I have to bring this to the board next week. I just met with the Armory yesterday about what dates were open for them, for us to do it in the fall. So it's a work in progress.
Got it.
But I'll get right back to you, certainly. when we have a date, and maybe you'll want to come and set up.
I would love to come.
Sure.
Hang out.
Speaking of history, I just looked at my phone. I got an email for my 20-year high school reunion just now, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, how's that feel?
Jump out that window.
You're just a puppy. I had
literally
I had my 40th last year, so you're just a pup.
You gonna go, Ben?
I don't know. I literally just got the email right now.
Well, are we live on the air? You have to
No.
make a decision right now.
We're not live. We're not live. This is Memorex.
I think. Well, you know what? I'm gonna make us live right now. I'm gonna go live on Facebook and make you answer the question.
Oh, great. Okay, so they're looking for some classmates to help manage our Facebook event.
I wish
should
we knew someone
probably-
qualified for that.
Yeah,
Just
and
Nobody's tech savvy these days. You know, it's
oof.
a dying art. Everything's
Oof.
AI.
Oof. All right, guys. Well, that just nosed. I'm like, oh, I got a notification. That's
Great,
probably
Brad.
nothing. And I'm like,
Relax there, tough guy.
Tom, I love it.
God.
Tom Galuccio, I love it.
Yeah,
Not-
right.
Yeah,
not
I knew
Tom-
what you
no,
meant.
No,
Yeah,
never
I-
Tom
yeah.
Foley.
No,
I
that's-
don't know.
I learned that in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So we're
I don't
we're
know
squared away. You don't have
why-
to
Not gonna be
explain
this
it.
time.
Yeah. So I would love to have a conversation with you off air, most likely, about airing some of those reflections pieces, because I'm looking through them on YouTube right now, and they're gorgeous, and Greg does such great work, and there's stories that definitely need to be told. I did I filmed for the Babcock Smith House in 2021. I filmed an interview with Gertrude Smith, which sort of has the same feel of the reflections pieces, and I think it's lovely. And if there was an opportunity for us to put some of those things in front of our audience, I think that would be great. But I'll definitely share those and share the links to them in this, because it's great.
It's
and people
why
need-
we did it.
yeah.
We're not very proprietary over them. We did it to share them,
It's a little windy.
and that's the idea. If as many avenues can get them out there for people to enjoy,
Yeah,
that's the whole idea.
It's
We were
beautiful.
lucky. We had a couple of the credit union sponsored an episode. Chelsea Groton Bank sponsored a couple of episodes, and the Rhode Island Foundation really gave us a nice check to round out the program. So our target is 24. We're about halfway there.
Uh-huh.
I've got a lineup. We're resuming interviewing after March 1st.
Okay.
Greg had some cataract surgery, so he's decommissioned for a little while. So as soon as he's back and he can look through the viewfinder nice and clearly, we're back in action. So it's looking around March 1st. But we do have a lineup of some more residents that we're going
That's
to be
amazing.
tackling.
Yeah. Are you looking for more people to sponsor episodes of those things?
If we
or-
do, we'll continue. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, everybody, listen to that. That would be great. So, what else do you want to talk about? I mean, first of all, we want to have you back, and we want to talk about specific things and specific, the beginning of this show is going to be just us getting to know the historical societies around all of the organizations that care about history in and around local history, but
You're going to find some very, very passionate groups that really invest a great deal of time. To my knowledge, we're all nonprofits and all volunteers. Nobody's on a payroll. The amount of work and professionalism that I get from my board as a volunteer group is exceptional. I'm very proud of them.
I know you said that there were a lot around. You were like, when I had a phone call with you, you were like, wait a second. If you're doing it every month, we probably won't be back for another 2 to 3 years. And I was like, no. We're going to do it every week. And I'm saying if you want to come on once a month or so. But that's just goes to show, if we were doing it every month, then it wouldn't be 2 or 3 years. That's 20 something organizations around. So that there's a lot of people that care about local history.
It depends on how far you want to cast that net. I mean,
Well, that's up to Tom.
There's some great programs, Palmer House in Stonington, and New London, Thames Valley, and Mystic, and Noank, and Niantic, and not to mention what we have right here, Quanticottag, Charlestown, Richmond, Exeter, Hopkinton, Tamaqua Indian Museum.
Type faster, Tom.
I know it.
It goes on.
It's recorded,
You
don't
cast a very wide net. There's well, hopefully we're going to have all these in attendance at our history fair.
Yeah,
we even had Block Island come out last time, which is nice. They've got a great historical society, a lot of history.
Well, listen,
on
we'll
the
plug
block.
that history fair every week on this show.
Absolutely.
leading
Just get
up
us
to
a
the
date.
fall. So, yeah, and it's going to be at the Armory. You said.
Yeah, and there's no better place. So
Yeah.
we did it at the library, and it got tight upstairs quick. We didn't realize how well attended. And it was nice. We missed some organizations. It was our first time out. I did my best. I threw a net out and see what we could capture. And this very nice lady came in and she goes, I didn't get an invite, but I would love to be part of this event. And I'm like, sure, we'll grab you a table and set up a chair. And she was from Exeter, and she put out a couple of brochures and said, I'd love to talk to people about what goes on in Exeter. And I said, great, you're more than welcome. So it was nice.
I didn't get an invite. Did you get an invite?
I did. Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
I did.
So I'm.
Yeah, no
so it was
one
just-
likes you.
It was
Tom.
just.
It
Yeah.
was
No
a-
one
yeah,
likes you.
that's,
Man,
it happens, Tom. Get over it.
it's
It
okay.
does.
It's
That's
fine.
why. Anyway, Tom, thank you so much. Tell people where they can find out more about the Westerly Historical Society.
WesterlyHistoricalSociety.org. Go on our website. You'll see you can become a member through there, Tom. Or I have an application right here for you. I can give you right now.
Well, but aren't I renewing member? Well, actually, I have a serious question for you. So, if I want to, well, let's say hypothetically, a person in the community wants to, and hypothetically, that person right now at this instant is not a current member, wants to come in and do research or look through the photo archive. Who does he contact? How does he go about doing that?
Same website, but you look under archivist. Zach Garso is our archivist, and he's a professional, which we were very fortunate to have come upon our board. He's a great young man, and again, he does it as a volunteer, so it's at his leisure. But he's very good at getting back to people with emails. I seem to get the lion's share of the emails and the requests for genealogy and locations of places and whatnot, and some are easy, and some involve Zach really digging in and looking hard for what we have in the archives, whether it's photographs or some written description of an event or a building or a person's life. And he's pretty good. He's pretty good about getting back to people. So WesterlyHistoricalSociety.org. You can send me an email, the president at WesterlyHistoricalSociety.org, or Zach, our archivist, or check our programs, our upcoming events. We have our annual dinner in May, which is at Havisham.
Nice.
That's looking at usually towards the end of the month. And again, we'll do our last event for the season is actually the Watch Hill Conservancy's first event of the season. For the past 2 years, we've partnered with them on doing a program at the Livery.
Oh yeah.
Usually the end of June or first week in July before they kick off their summer series. They've been a wonderful host to us. It's a great venue.
That was the last one was the talk on Fort Mansfield.
On Fort
right?
Mansfield.
Oh man, I'm so sad I missed that.
The first one, well, it's on our website.
Yeah.
You can go to it and pull it up. The first one that Jack did, which was historical and comical, was the gun runners of Narragansett Bay, the bootleggers and gun runners. That was great. Jack's a great researcher. I mean, he really digs in. I wish I had the time that he does to do research, but I'm glad to have him. He's going to do one this year. That the topic, we've got 2 in the hopper right now, so I'm going to let him flush out which one we're going to go with in June. But
You got to give us a teaser here.
either one, well, one is either on the great hotels
Yeah, cool.
of Watch Hill, and then there's one that's I'm going to keep that as a surprise.
Okay.
As
All
the
right.
as the
There you go.
backup.
All right.
Whets the appetite.
Yeah, that's
Well,
it.
listen, you're going to come back, right?
All right. Yeah,
You're-
I guess so.
I
Okay.
think Ben
Will
is
you come
trying
back?
He's trying to wrap this
yeah,
up.
he's trying to wrap it up, I think.
Yeah, wants to
Listen,
go
you
downstairs
get
and
that.
Well,
get a
I'm
little
not trying
something.
to
Wants to get
listen.
some
That's
lunch.
not what
Yeah,
I'm just saying that you
Yeah.
don't need to tell us everything right now about the. You're like, I'm going to keep the second event in my back pocket. That's great because you can tell us about it in the future.
Yeah. I
What?
know.
What do you? What do you?
What?
what
I'm
are you
just
saying?
listen.
What
I
are you
just
saying?
I
I'm
guess it's
helping.
I
I'm
guess
helping.
it's time to go.
Tom, what I
now I know
hear,
what you
Tom-
feel like, Tom.
What I know, right? Yeah. See, maybe it's Tom's. He's just biased against Tom's.
I'm not-
Tomophobia?
The Tomophobia. He's a tomophobic.
He's a tomophobe.
I'm not a
A
tomophobe.
tomophobe.
I'm going to leave that with you because
Oh,
maybe
thank
you
you,
could
sir.
just take a shot of it and
Yeah,
put it up
absolutely.
once in a while. And actually, I'll leave you a little momentum
Give
with
me
our
an
history.
application
Whoa, how
too.
about
That was,
That
nice
was
shot.
solid.
That was a good shot.
Good.
Yeah,
That was great. Well, this has been awesome. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about or say before we go? Because we don't have to. I mean, there's no like time restriction.
Oh,
here.
there's no
You
time?
No, there's no time restriction.
Well, Tom,
I don't know. You ask away. You've got questions. I'll try to answer them.
nothing off the top of my head.
Yeah, come on.
All right. I got a bunch of questions, but it's going to lead us down a rabbit hole.
That's all right. I've got some time.
Let's talk about the Bliven Opera House for a second.
I don't know much about it.
Okay, let's not talk about the Bliven Opera House for a second.
I know
Oh,
my
let's-
grandfather went there for a nickel and
I-
watched the show.
I'll tell you. All right, let's talk about.
And it was where McQuaid stands today, I believe.
Okay,
In Mystic or in
Right here.
West? Oh,
right,
wow.
right down the street. Let's
Well, I
talk
guess I do
about.
know a little bit.
There was an opera house where McQuaid's is.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Actually, there was another one right over the bridge, I think, where Bogue's Alley is. I think that was the Star Opera House.
or was
There, I'm
it
sorry. There was an opera house where
across the
Bogue's
street,
Alley
I
is.
think. Yeah,
In that vicinity.
yeah.
Okay.
Again, don't hold me to it, but it's probably within a stone's throw from where Bogue's
Tom,
Alley
we are
is.
fact checking everything you say.
I hope so.
Every single
I know,
thing.
it's the only way to keep me honest.
Ben is typing
Well, I'm just
furiously
Bogue's
over there.
Alley seems like such a small, beautiful, wonderful sandwich. I'm gonna go to Bogue's Alley after this just to make up for anything I'm saying right
That's
now.
it.
Of course, Bogue's Alley could
Oh,
be an
now-
opera house.
Now I'm on.
Of
Well,
course.
The location of it wasn't this actual.
Yeah.
It wasn't the actual building that stands there now. There are very few actual buildings on that side of the river that are still there.
One of the things you and I were just talking about was the Cyclone Fife and Drum Corps.
Yeah.
I picked up that picture from what is it, Mary D's Antiques over here that just closed.
Mhm.
There's a picture of it's on All About Westerly. Shameless plug. All About Westerly, and it's a I don't know, it's maybe a half dozen guys with musicians. Turns out, and I had no idea what it was. It's the Cyclone Fife and Drum Corps of Westerly, Rhode Island. Turns out they were attached to the number 2 engine in Westerly, the old firehouse, and it was the fire department's marching band. Is that about right?
Yeah. Sounds right.
Yeah. So I think we should have John Mackey on the show and figure out why we don't have a fife and drum corps in this town anymore.
There we go.
What do you think? John, I'm calling you out.
Maybe they rely on the Westerly Band, which is the oldest continuing band in the nation, I believe.
Wow.
Yep. They practice every Wednesday night at the Armory upstairs. They have their own room. The amazing group of musicians, but they carry on the Westerly Band name, which I had to go through my notes. I think it's I can tell you that
In my mind, that's a magical notebook that contains every answer to everything in the world.
Yeah, it's like it's a
actually
Harry
there's
Potter book.
a few things in here about you, Ben, too, but I'll keep them until we're off the air.
Oh, that's true.
I
That
thought-
one.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah.
That's scary.
I have pictures.
That's scary.
Mm.
1852, 173 years they've been practicing the Westerly Band. Imagine that, 1852.
And
About 10 years before the Civil War broke out.
that
And about 17 years of those years, they've been pretty good. I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm kidding. That is
wow.
such a
Shots fired.
no. Listen.
Holy cow.
I don't know if I
listen.
want to be part of this
No,
organization.
no. That is 100% a
my
joke.
God.
It's just the obvious joke to go with
Dude,
there.
Allison
That's
Patton's
not.
gonna
I
come in here
love
and
Allison.
beat you
Miss
with
Allison?
a mallet.
Please don't.
Like a
Okay.
drum.
Right.
No, the Westerly band is incredible. We did their Christmas show. I love the Westerly band. I am
Yep.
completely
Backpedal,
kidding.
backpedal.
Listen,
Yeah.
come on.
Uh-huh.
When you say that something's been around for 175 years, then you say that's the joke. That's a classic joke structure.
Broadview Flowers and have some flowers sent over to the Westerly band pretty
I like
soon.
it.
Hey, Tom, are you aware that Broadview Florist is an advertiser on this show?
That's the only place in town
I was
go.
going to say, you're
There
not going
we
to call
go.
Smith's.
There we go. There we
Are
go.
they really an advertiser?
Yeah.
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them. You're not
Good for you for picking out the advertiser.
Well,
Broadview Flowers for all of your flower needs.
Langworthy Road, Westerly.
Absolutely.
Right next to Dunn's Corners Market.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, my favorite market.
Dunn's Corners Market is great. Ooh.
Well,
Well, now
fried
I'm kind of
chicken.
now I'm torn between whether or not I'm getting a sandwich from Bogues or
Bogues.
Dunn's.
No, choices.
Great. You know, maybe it's just because I haven't eaten today.
I'm a little
We circled
famous
back.
myself.
I know. I got to go.
You always got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
He's got to go somewhere. Well, you
I'm
didn't buy
usually
him
late.
breakfast this morning, so he hasn't eaten.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
It's a reciprocal thing, Ben.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about that.
So before I buy him another breakfast, I gotta
You
get,
gotta
I gotta
back.
get something
You
back.
keeping score?
Yeah.
I am keeping score.
Hopefully, it's the check for his dues.
Oh no, that's totally separate.
that's a separate column.
That goes to the organization. That,
But you're not
that
getting
gets
that-
some.
you're not
that
getting
gets some-
either.
Oh my
That gets some no street cred with me.
Yeah, I got to do that right now. I think.
This has been a lot of fun.
Yes, it certainly has.
Yeah, it definitely has been a lot of fun. Any other questions, Tom? Before you seem so opposed to me wrapping this show up.
Well, I wanted to say, while we were talking about the Westerly band, the what everybody calls the gazebo in the Wilcox Park is actually their bandstand.
Yes,
I don't think it's owned by them, but it is. They've got a very nice plaque over there. What do you call it? Panel.
Yeah.
Describing the band, and a great picture with the stream that used to run through Wilcox Park in the background. So next time you're out wandering in Wilcox Park, take a look at the bandstand sign and note the.
Where's the stream?
So can we talk about the stream for a
Let's talk
second?
about the stream.
Yeah.
Because it used to go under the little bridge that goes over nothing right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah, that would make sense.
It used to follow right out to Grove Avenue, but it came from back of the library.
So the water itself, I know the answer to this, and I don't know how much I can tell you about this, but so they piped the water down from the quarry hole that somewhere on the top of Granite Hill, whether it was the high school hole or
It's the one behind where the company store used to be, where ServPro was building their new.
That's
their
what I'm
business.
thinking.
So there's a gate there.
Okay.
There's a steel gate that had a lever that they would open and fill the pond,
Got it.
and where the duck pond
Yep.
in Wilcox Park. If it ever
And
got low,
that's right on line too. I think. Right?
I don't know what kind of conduit brought the water down. I don't know if it's even. I think the gate's been rusted shut and it hasn't been used in years. But originally,
It's
yes.
still there.
So the ingenuity
Wild.
of 150 plus years ago of laying pipe from all that distance down the hill to have a gravity fed water from the quarry.
Oh, it
into
makes
the
sense.
pond.
We get the water towers right next to it, right?
Sure.
It's the same gravity system.
Yeah.
So now let me add a little chunk into that. All right. So I work for the United Theater. I'm the director of the music school. Now, I don't just tell you that because I should. It's
Humble brag.
a humble brag. So the original air conditioning system for the United Theater was a coil on the roof, right, of just pipe back and forth, and they would feed cold water through it. And then there was an airplane propeller up there that blew over the coil and blew. That's how they cooled the building down in the summer. And the rumor is that those are part of the same system. So it
Okay.
came down from the quarry hole over the United Theater building and then went into the duck pond.
Geothermal.
Geothermal.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
and we've got a little bit of confirmation about that, but I won't tell you that part of the story.
Well, did you know that in recent years,
He's
in the-
joking. This is sorry. Go ahead.
you are a ruiner of things. I was going to say, did you know that in recent years, the United Theater has actually needed more air conditioning than ever before? Not because of global warming or anything, just because the year's so full of hot air.
I saw that coming a mile away.
Well, I had to go for an extra walk around the block to get there because of you. So, It's
Sorry,
it is
man.
hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. I still love you, Tom.
I think that's true,
G.
though.
Tom G,
So
not Tom F.
I just happen to have these membership forms today.
That was the segue.
So I mean, you could embarrass yourself and just do an individual, but seeing as you have a corporation here, you could go with a corporate.
Actually, that's a great idea.
The Silas Greenman corporate sponsor. Now, Silas Greenman was the had the shipyard down on Margin Street.
This is a shakedown, isn't it?
So,
Yep.
For a measly $500, you could join and be the corporate level. But I'll let you decide off camera
That'd be amazing.
how you
So-
want to join the society.
The United is also a nonprofit. I just want to point that out, as is the music school, as is the Knickerbocker Music Center that I also work for. So I doubt they will go for the corporate sponsorship, but yeah, so definitely renew my.
Well, maybe somebody out there in our viewer land would like to take an opportunity. Again, it is what makes the society work.
Yeah.
Is membership. It allows us to do our programs,
That's
special events, to do the research, to have the archives, and to keep them up and going for local researchers and folks like you who have an offering for the
mecca.
town, a mecca.
Mm-hmm. Hey, last thing, talking about he brought it up. He brought up Margin Street, so this isn't my fault. But we're looking for the remnants of the old pontoon bridge that went from Margin Street over to the Clark thread mill across the river. That was my last tromp a couple of weekends ago, trying to find that bridge. So if anybody out there has any information about the Clark thread mill pontoon bridge, we'd love to talk to you. It's probably nothing out there, but we'll see. I'm trying to figure
the
out
calls to the. I like the
call
hey,
to action.
yeah. And I love a show where the calls to action are. Anybody know anything about this? And just give me a call. Like
Who's got the down low on this?
Yeah, because that's how you do
our
it.
biggest call to action, like I mentioned earlier, is please do not throw away a garage, a basement, an attic, a closet, your grandparents, aunt, uncles, somebody's home, an old business.
Yeah.
It's amazing what we have in our archives. It could be a pen from a car dealership that hasn't been around for 50 years, or a pharmacy that's been closed for 100. It could be something as a ruler, a matchbook, a photograph, a business card, a brochure, a button, anything. You'd be amazed at what we put in our archives that will soon be out on display for people to see and say, oh, I remember that, or I never knew that existed. Or
That's so cool.
how
Those
interesting.
tangible pieces.
Those little tangible pieces.
Yeah.
I have
tie
a
you,
I have a storage unit filled with stuff from my parents' house that I literally have no idea what's in there and what isn't in there.
A friend of mine who you have to have on the show, because he's a pretty much a professional metal detector person, and he looks for old sites. He doesn't comb the beach for wedding rings and loose change, but he's has a nice collection of Civil War buttons, Revolutionary War buttons, buckles from belts and shoes, and he's combed a couple of old farms and found coins from the Orient that are hundreds of years old.
Wow.
Or coins from Europe that are hundreds of years old, and it's really interesting stuff. So again, we work together, because if I can find a historical site, I share it with him.
Nice.
We get him permission to go and comb on it, and whatever he finds, he'll give to the landowner. The thrill is in the hunt,
right,
for him.
Yeah.
And he can photograph it and keep it, the photograph, but the tangible item, the button or the buckle, or
goes to the landowner.
Goes to the landowner if they want it, and if not, it's in his collection, which is really nice.
That's neat.
I'll ask him before I divulge his name and see if he's interested in having you have him on the show.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
So far, for secret information, we have Ben's former address, and we have your metal detector friend.
Yes.
So these are
and nickname.
Oh, and what Jack's other presentation is going to be, or it might be at the.
All kinds of secrets.
I'll tell you.
Real.
Tune in next time with Tom G, and the secrets will be revealed.
Thank you guys so much for being here. And I just want to say in closing, the most important message that I want everyone to take from today's show is that I love the Westerly Band.
I think at $1 a dozen, you're safe for eggs for your home on wherever it is being egged.
Yeah.
I love the Westerly band. Okay. Allison Patton is a friend.
I think we have to make a donation now, Ben.
Yeah. All right, guys. And here's our friends over at Broadview Florist. Bye for now.
Hi, I'm Chris Kozłowski, owner of Broadview Florist and Garden Center in Dunn's Corners. For over 40 years, our family-owned business has been your go-to destination for beautiful, custom-made floral arrangements. Whether it's a special event or just to brighten up your day, we create highest quality designs tailored just for you. Trust Broadview Florist to make every moment unforgettable. Visit us today or give us a call at 401-322-0390.
Hi, I'm AJ Truck.
And I'm Jeff Swiderski with AnnieMac Home Mortgage's Momentum Group, your trusted partner in the home buying process.
At AnnieMac, we can strengthen your offer with our innovative program, Cash to Keys, giving you a competitive edge by allowing you to make a cash offer on your new home.
Together, we've helped over 1,000 families move into their dream homes, and we'd love to do the same for you.
Give us a call today at 401-486-0853 to get started.
Ever thought about leveling up your fitness game in a fun and meaningful way? Kiefer's Martial Arts on Granite Street has everything you're looking for. Kickboxing, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and of course, adult karate. It's not just about getting fit, it's about building your self-confidence, discipline, and that unstoppable feeling you get from all your hard work. Stop into Kiefer's Martial Arts today to sign up.
Hi, I'm Neil Anthus, owner of Sound Financial Partners. We're a full-service financial planning practice dedicated to optimizing your investment, tax, and cash flow strategies. As fiduciaries, we always keep our advisory clients' best interests in mind when making recommendations. Whether you're preparing for retirement or growing your business, we're here to help you achieve your financial goals. Ready to start your journey to financial success? Visit us at our Westerly office or give us a call at 401-642-4333.
I am Jim Howe. My practice is focused on representing people injured in car accidents, representing people injured in premises liability, represent people in all walks of life. I say all the time that I represent the underdog, and by the underdog I mean the person who is injured and is facing lawyers that are hired by insurance companies. If you unfortunately find yourself injured in an automobile collision or in any other circumstance where insurance may come into play, think of giving me a call.
Grab that special someone and come dance the night away this Valentine's Day with the Knickerbocker All-Stars live at the Nick. It'll be a night you'll remember forever, dancing to the music that you can never forget. Get your tickets for the Valentine's Day swing dance at the Nick today at nickmusic.com. Experience local excellence with Roof Right Roofing in Charlestown, Rhode Island. With over 40 years of unmatched expertise, Roof Right specializes in architectural shingles and holds the prestigious title of GAF Master Elite Installers. Known for their commitment to the community and support for local initiatives, Roof Right is your trusted partner for all of your home's roofing needs. Call today for a free estimate at 401-212-4140.
Hi, this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. In this challenging insurance environment, Lathrop Insurance can be your beacon in the storm to help you find the coverage you need at the right price. Now, more than ever, you need a partner in the insurance industry that can work with multiple carriers to make sure you have the right coverage at the right price. Lathrop Insurance carries home, auto, and business insurance and can be reached at 401-596-2525. We've been supporting the local community since 1939, and we look forward to working with you.
What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick down here at the Wireless Zone at Dunn's Corners at 224 Post Road, and everybody down here is getting the brand new iPhone 16. We have it here in stock. The best part is right now, if you trade in your old phone, you get it for free. We got deals all weekend, awesome savings. Come on down and see us, 224 Post Road, Dunn's Corners, Verizon Wireless Zone. We'll see you soon.
G&V Mechanical specializes in the installation, maintenance, and servicing of Mitsubishi ductless mini-split heat pump systems. We are certified by Mitsubishi as Diamond Elite Contractors and factory trained and up to date on the proper procedure of the installation and service of Mitsubishi ductless heating and air conditioning ductless heat pumps. We assist with the paperwork to reduce much of the stress-related documentation required to get the state rebates and federal tax incentives. We are not a jack-of-all-trades, master-of-nothing company. We are masters of ductless heat pumps. It's what we do, and it's what we know.